Do you know how to build wealth with credit cards? Well, let me tell you, if you don't, you're missing out on one of the easiest and biggest opportunities to get yourself ahead and start walking down that road to wealth. Let's find out how. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 ways you can leverage credit cards to build wealth. And I know credit cards have gotten a lot of bad rap with a lot of financial gurus today, but if you use them correctly, they can be a game changer. Make sure you stick around to the last tip, because I'm going to talk about 5 things you should be using credit cards to spend money on that will create massive wealth. Let's get started. You see, how people use credit cards really reveals their financial mindset. It's actually one of the most stark markers I've ever seen. When you give somebody a credit card with a $10,000 limit, how they use that is a massive revelation of how they think about money and what type of financial mindset they have. Now, people have different mindsets for different reasons. A lot of people grew up in homes that maybe didn't have a lot of money. They heard a lot of negative talk around money. There was never enough money, or they heard statements like money doesn't grow on trees and there's only a limited supply and money changes people and all these negative comments around money. Well, when you give somebody a credit card, it's interesting to see what happens. If you were to hand somebody a credit card of $10,000, go on a shopping spree, $10,000. A wealthy person will say, what can I buy that will create more money? A poor person will say, what can I buy that will be most fun? It's different. See, some people will say, oh, I got $10,000 free dollars. I'm gonna go out and buy that new boat I've been looking at. Or a wealthy person's like, I just got a gift of 10 grand. I'm gonna go hire a contractor that's gonna help me market my business. I'm gonna go hire somebody to help me build a website so that I can start a business in my community. See, a wealthy person's gonna use that 10,000 to create more, whereas someone with a poor mindset is gonna use it up. It's gonna be gone. See, a credit card reveals people's wealth. So as we get into these 5 strategies, understand that how you use credit cards often reveal where your mindset is about money. The very first strategy to use credit cards to build wealth is to see them as tools. Only use credit cards on things that create more opportunity, more money, more network, and grow your financial capacity rather than just simply growing your stuff. Very few people need another suit, another car in the garage, another jet ski, another lawnmower, another, hot rod, another whatever is your thing, another streaming app. We don't need more of that. But what most people do need is they want more happiness. They want more fulfillment. They want more connection. They want more travel. They want more time with family. What's interesting is people want more of what money can provide. You see, money has gotten a bad rap over the years, and a lot of people misquote the verse in the Bible and they say money is the root of all evil. That's actually not what that verse says. It says the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. And so the idea there is when we love money, it creates a negative world because we're worshiping this thing that really doesn't bring us any value. But here's what I want you to understand. There's a big division here. If you see money as evil, you're never going to make it. And the truth of the matter is, people don't want money. What people that say they want to be rich, they don't want money. They want what money creates. They want the freedom money gives, the ability to fly and see their kids, the ability to send their kids to great schools, the ability to buy their grandkids a beautiful birthday present. They want what money provides. They don't want pieces of paper. So when we talk about money, understand on my channel and in my mission, I talk about money as creating a missional life. I want money to create a life where you can give to your church, serve your community, go see your kids, travel with your spouse, do whatever it is that's important to you. I just don't want money to stop you. So when you start switching this mindset, you get a credit card with a balance on it, 10 grand, what are you gonna do with it? Buy things that create freedom, that create opportunity. Don't just go buy something that creates something that then you have to maintain, and it doesn't really get you closer to those things that everybody really wants. Big mindset shift here. Credit cards are tools to create freedom, not just money to buy stuff. Big difference, and I want your mindset to shift there because it's going to make a massive difference in how you use credit cards and how you build wealth with these amazing tools. The second way to build wealth with credit cards is never pay those high interest fees. Never pay those high interest fees, with one small caveat, which we'll get into in the next tip. But don't pay those high fees. You know, credit cards have 15 to 20% fees when you let them go month after month after month. And one of the things the credit card companies know, the reason they do the 0% for 6 months or 0% for a year or 0% for a certain period of of time is they know if they can get you spending on that card and not having to pay interest, it creates a distance between you and your money. You're no longer thinking about that bill coming due. And the credit card companies know if they can create that distance, they actually want you to go into debt because they're going to make a lot more money on that interest. What I want you to do is use those credit cards to build wealth. Don't use them to create a prison that you're locked inside of and can't really go live your life. So don't pay those fees. You're only going to spend on things that you can pay off within the 30-day window. And again, there is a caveat, and I'll go over that next, but the truth is you want to make sure you're not just spending on things that just accumulate, but don't bring value. There's a big difference between debt and consumer debt. We'll talk about that in some upcoming videos, but understand consumer debt, it's just things that'll never add value. Jet ski, yeah, it adds some fun, but it doesn't create freedom. And then there's debt that creates money. All the debt I have millions of dollars in debt, but all of it creates money. And I get paid a lot more money by having that debt than I would if I didn't. But those are two different kinds of debt. And when you see these high interest fees are rarely the good kind of debt that really will create a life for you that you really, really want. Now, before I get to that caveat and that third tip for you, make sure you smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel. We want to make sure we get this content out to as many people as possible. So smash that thumbs up button, smash the subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification so you get notified every time we do a video, which is every single weekday. We love putting content out for our family. So if you could hit those buttons, make sure you become part of our family. Let's get to that caveat in tip number 3. Now, the caveat to not paying those high interest fees is sometimes it makes sense to pay those high interest fees if what you're spending the money on is going to create a bigger return. I'll give you an example. Let's say I am buying a house to fix and flip in real estate. I'm going to buy a house for $100,000 and I need to put $50,000 into it. Well, I found a lender for the $100,000, but I don't have the $50,000, but I do have a credit card with quite a bit of money on it. So what if I could go and put all the materials and everything on that credit card? All of my materials are on that credit card, and now I'm racking up debt. So let's say it takes me 6 months to pay that off. So I pay interest on that 15, 18%, 20% for 6 months. But when I sell that house, I make a lot more than that back. Yes, it cost me to have that money, but the return was greater. And so let me tell you, and this takes a business mind to think through, if you're going to go into debt, into credit cards, make sure it's for something that will create a bigger return than the amount of money you're spending to borrow that money essentially from your credit card. Because you have to understand, when you go into debt, you're paying those interests, you're essentially going into debt to your credit card. You're borrowing from your credit card to buy whatever it is you're buying. So if you're gonna do that, make sure the return on investment is greater. I would do this. There's a couple things that I would invest money and even go into debt on a credit card for as long as they were going to bring me a greater return. And our last tip of this video, tip number 5, I'm going to walk you through the things you need to be spending money on. And even if you have to go into debt, they will create a massive difference in your life. But if you're going to pay those high interest fees, just make sure enough money's coming back and more money's coming back than the interest you're shelling out for those cards. The fourth thing is use them to change your mindset. So get a credit card that does have a $3,000 limit and test yourself, push yourself. How can I spend this $3,000 that will create $4,000? How can I spend this $3,000 that will create $3,500 or $5,000? How can I invest this money that will create more? Use it to train your mindset to think, if I'm going to spend, what's coming back to me? That's the way wealthy people think. Now, I understand a lot of people saying, yeah, Mike, if you're always thinking about the return on investment, you're never just living. What I've realized is I get to just live as much as I want by thinking about the return on investment. The reason so many people are in financial ruin and the average family doesn't have $3,000 to $5,000 in the bank is because they don't think of what return is coming back from my money. They want to live the free life, but what they do is they use debt to get there. What I want to help you do is use wealthy thinking to make great decisions with your money, whether it's credit card money or cash money, so that the freedom comes. So get a card that has $3,000 to $5,000 on it and start asking yourself, how can I use this? Use it to build that muscle of how can I use this to create more revenue. And the fifth thing rich people do to leverage credit cards to build wealth is spending them on very specific things. I want to walk you through 5 things you should be spending money on every single day with credit cards because they build a really strong return. The very first thing that you should be spending money on is masterminds and coaching. 2012 was the first coach I ever hired, and had I not hired that coach, I would never be where I am today. I now have a new mindset anytime I start something new. When I came on YouTube, or when I started to build an online business, or when I started to buy real estate, I got a coach. Everything I do today, the very first thing I do is who can I pay to teach me how to do this so that it cuts my learning curve and I can really scale faster. And one of the things you have to understand when you're leveraging credit cards to build wealth is investing in things that build you into the kind of person that can generate revenue, have a great relationship, whatever, are truly that. They're an investment. And that's the power of making sure you're spending your money correctly, and I would even say investing it. So the very first thing I would tell you is make sure you're investing in coaches, trainings, and masterminds that really, really fuel your success. That's one thing I would put on a credit card and even go into debt for, because I know how much coaching has helped me and changed my life. If you're somebody who's willing to take action, then I would tell you this is a huge investment. If you're somebody who doesn't like to take action, then I wouldn't invest in coaching because you got to do the work. But if you want to do the work and you want to get it and then build the team to do the work so you can have freedom, put some coaching on a credit card so that you can get coaching if you can't afford it. It's time to level up your game. And you want to build wealth leveraging credit cards, that's one of the best investments. The second thing rich people spend money on to build wealth and put on credit cards is business startup. So a lot of times when people are starting businesses, there's a lot of costs associated. There's websites and softwares and paper products and office supplies and all kinds of things it takes to get a business going, and computers and all that stuff. Because that money will bring a return, I'm telling you that's a good thing to put on a credit card. And again, you see the difference here. I'm not talking about boats and jet skis and couches. I'm talking about things that will bring a return. You want to know how wealthy people leverage credit cards to build wealth? They use them on things that build and bring a return. And business startup expenses are one of those things. So coaching and masterminding, business startup expenses, those are things that bring a return. So those are things and good things to invest in with credit cards. The third thing is another thing that's had a huge impact on me, which is live and virtual trainings, maybe online digital products or live events. These things are golden for a couple reasons. Because of the people in the room. You get inside a room and there's magic with the networks and the relationships you build, and then of course you have the guru teaching the content that you went there to learn. Live events have changed my life. And then there's the online side of virtual events or digital trainings and programs that are continual education. I love what Jim Rohn said. Your formal education will make you a living. Your self-education will make you a fortune. And this is the power of investing in live events, trainings, online trainings, virtual events, is the idea that you're getting the information that's going to change your life. Yet another thing, rich people leverage credit cards to invest in. Live trainings, virtual trainings, things that again fuel their mind, fuel their strategies so that they can create more revenue, create more jobs, and impact more people. The fourth one is contractor services. One of the things that I've put on credit cards over the years are my YouTube team, is my marketing team, all the people I invest in that help me build my business. And so these are contractor services that really, really, really change the game for a business. And yet it's such a big expense. Not only does it take it off my plate, but rarely do I have the skills of the contractor I'm paying. I don't know how to build a YouTube channel. That's why I have a team that's helping me do that. I know the content I teach, but I have a team behind the scenes doing the work because that's their specialty. All my online marketing, building my landing pages and putting my funnels together, making sure our emails are going to the right places. All of that is done by highly trained experts. And credit cards are a great thing to use in order to get those contractors so you can have real experts doing your work for you and growing your business. And then the fifth thing is marketing. Facebook ads, print ads, depending on your level of business, where are you showing up, Google ads, YouTube ads, all of the marketing that exists out there. Marketing is the greatest investment of a business next to people because marketing is what creates money. It's what creates revenue. And so marketing is yet another thing I would put on a credit card even if I couldn't pay it off, because I know I'm doing things to get my name out there that's going to create a return on investment. This is how wealthy people leverage credit cards to build wealth. The question is, Are you going to be one of them? But put your questions below. We love interacting with our Power Up Real Estate family. What questions do you have about credit cards? Should I buy this? Should I invest in this? What do you think about this? Put your questions below. We love to interact. I would love to answer your questions quickly so that you can have an answer to understand if you should be leveraging credit card in this specific way. Put that question below. I'll see you in the next video.